how good you can be with Minolta XG1.
Hey, you want to see some terrific pictures?
Depend on the automatic Minolta XG1 to give you clear, sharp pictures. It does the work. You take the credit.
Yeah, hey, do you want to see some terrific pictures?
No.
Yeah, look.
That's lovely.
For a limited time, get an XG1 and get a $25 rebate from Minolta. See your dealer now for details.
Someday, somewhere, you will discover magic. Capri Magic from Lincoln Mercury.
Magic.
A magic so special, it may be almost irresistible. Capri Magic. See one soon, before they all disappear.
Monday on the season premiere of MASH, Hawkeye gets a leave.
Thanks for lending me the car, Dad.
And wishes he had never left. MASH, Monday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
With John Madden, I'm Gary Bender. We have 11:29 to go in this first half of play. A 40-yard kick that time by Mike Connell. The Eagles with the ball at their own 24-yard line. Jaworski to Montgomery. He gets away from Tony Peters and he brings it out just about for a yard pickup maybe on the play. Monty Coleman over there. But the guy that really got through in a hurry was Tony Peters and went diving after him but couldn't make the tackle.
Tony Peters is very good on force, and that's really the reason that he replaced Ken Houston, is that he is a good tackler. He does get up. You know, he plays the run very well, and that's what a strong safety has to do. He always goes to the side of the tight end, and he's really responsible for that strong side sweep.
Gain of 1, second down night. Tony Peters last year got a game ball in a game against Philadelphia. He was playing a cornerback, and he held Harold Carmichael only 1 catch. But, of course, now playing the safety position. On 2nd and 9, Jaworski with time. Lots of time. Going to run or try to. Carl Lorch has him. A loss of a yard on the play. He had time, but there was just nobody open. And Jaworski, who this year has thrown only 8 interceptions, elected that time to run with it.
That's probably why he's only thrown 8 interceptions. That was really good coverage by the Redskin defense. They just had no one open.
And you can see it here. Carmichael having a tough time shaking that defense.
I can, huh?
You can. Well, your monitor did work.
I can't see anything. I'm sure it's true, though.
Well, you're like all coaches. You want to wait and see the films before you make a comment.
And if you don't, you just make it up.
3rd down. Almost 10 yards to go. Up the middle, tried to cross him up, and it did not fool the Redskins at all. So that'll bring up a kicking situation. Mike Hogan bringing it out to the 29. The Redskins starting to stiffen after allowing Philadelphia to score the first 2 times they had the football. And Max Runniger will come in and kick. Again, we'll mention that Washington has fallen behind early in the last 2 weeks, only to come back and start putting their offense together. And right now, their defense getting much, much more difficult as far as the Eagles are concerned. Runniger from the 15-yard line. You can see his last kick. Back deep. Mike Nelms for Washington. Taking a lot of time. 6 seconds on the clock. 5, 4, just got it off. Very fine kick by Runniger. Picturesque kick. Nelms from the 28-yard line. Trying to get to the picket line. He got away from one man, but help arrives. Louis Giamona, who has just been an outstanding special teams performer. He got the Sledgehammer Award for being the best special teams performer last season.
He's not only been an outstanding special teams performer, but he's done an outstanding job in replacing Wilbert Montgomery for the 3 weeks that he was out.
That was a 44-yard kick by Runniger.
Got a long day's work behind me.
That's it. Let's take them all.
Good times on my mind. And a setting sun to remind me I'm got the time.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
We've got the beer.
America's quality beer since 1855.
Miller tastes too good to hurry through.
Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. If you've got time, we've got the beer.
We have 9 minutes and 36 seconds to go in this first half. At the 25-yard line, Washington down 14-0 with a first down. Harmon, Wilbur Jackson in the backfield. Ricky Thompson and Art Monk, the wide receivers. Theismann looking for Ricky Thompson. Then he tries to hit Clarence Harmon. And a flag on the play. Looks like it's going to go against Philadelphia. Ricky Thompson was trying to shake loose, and Theismann just couldn't get him open. So then he tried to hit his back, and it looks like it will go against the Eagles. Let's see. Defensive holding. That's what it is.
You know what happened is they went there again. He couldn't wait for the ball to get in the air, and he had to hold him and grab him before it got there.
First down.
He tried to hold it off.
From the 30-yard line.
Holding number 66, defense.
Bill Berge.
First down.
Berge. Well, you talk about intensity. Dick Vermeil says he's so intense sometimes that he breaks his concentration. I think that's interesting.
That was always my problem.
Is that what it was? First down. Wilbur Jackson. Jackson, 35 to the 38-yard line. And I am impressed by the fact that Washington's been able to get him outside on a couple of plays.
Well, that's the thing. Of course, when they're down 14-0, I think that the Eagle defense is getting into a lot of pass rush situations, and the Redskins are mixing them up by running in some of those situations.
Getting some good blocking from Jeff Williams. Williams has been slowed with a thigh injury. Look at this, the Packers and Giants. Wilbur Jackson, 33 yards on 6 carries. Jerry Ellis has scored in that game for Green Bay on a 2-yard run. Theismann, Ricky Thompson, and that is a completion and a first down at the 49-yard line. Herman Edwards defending.
That was a great catch by Ricky Thompson. He had overrun that ball and had to stop and come back. That was a fine reception.
This guy has 5 touchdown catches. Already a career high for him. He had a 54-yarder against Philadelphia in Veterans Stadium.
We were talking about the feet and the footwork of Wilbert Montgomery. Ricky Thompson, that's his strongest asset. He has great feet himself.
First down now at the 49. Washington with their most impressive drive of this game. Wilbur Jackson gets away from John Bunting, and he's able to make it to the 47-yard line. Reggie Wilkes over to make the stop, but Jackson again showing very good speed. That was something I was wondering about since they lost John Riggins, whether they could get outside. And today, Wilbur Jackson has proved to me that he does have good enough speed.
Well, Darren, the thing that helped Wilbur on that play was his strength also, because Bill Berge penetrated. He was in the backfield, and Wilbur Jackson just shrugged him off. You know, he was a fullback with the 49ers for years, but he was a halfback that had been switched and played fullback more than he really was a true fullback.
Gain of 4, second down 6. Thompson and Monk, the wide receivers. That's Thompson in motion. This is Clarence Harmon, and Harmon is very close to the first down at the 41. Dennis Harrison, Bigfoot, all 6'8", 280 pounds of him, making the stop. And it appears as though they are just short of the first down. It'll be a third down coming up. There's Harmon, played collegiately. This is Forte. Forte cuts it up, and he has the first down. A very fine individual effort that time by Forte, who looked like he wouldn't get his shoulders turned up the field. Frank LeMaster eventually made the stop. First down, Washington inside the 40-yard line. Again, we mentioned Forte has some ability as he'll come off. Coming back in will be Clarence Harmon. So Washington, a good ball control drive. 6:55 remaining in this first half. First down at the 39 of Philadelphia. 14-0, the Eagles. Kenny Harrison split out. Art Monk is out. Theismann on a first down. Lots of time. And falling down was Kenny Harrison. Defending was Roynell Young. And Harrison looking around thinking maybe he was interfered with.
And I think the fans feel that way too, but he wasn't interfered with. He slipped as he made his cut, and that happens quite a bit on grass. It's a little slippery on these sidelines, and Kenny Harrison was pushing up, and as he went to make his cut and come back, he slipped.
Harrison had a couple of catches last week. He's a former San Francisco 49er. He's taken off the injured reserve list 3 weeks ago. Second down, 10 from the 39. Thompson and Monk, the wide receivers. 6:39 left on the clock in this first half. Almost firing off, and doing so was Ken Clark. And that will be a 5-yard penalty. Clark, a little too quickly that time, tried to fire off the mark, and he already has 1 sack in this game. You know, Clark is listed at 6'2", but in reality, he's only about 5'11".
5'11", and that was the type when I was a coach that I would always reject, and that's the reason we didn't have some of these Ken Clarks.
Number 71, defense.
Well, you only won 103 games in a Super Bowl. You must have done something right.
And also some of the Carl Hairstons. This is the one thing that Dick Vermeil does. He really believes that the only important thing is how they play the game. It has nothing to do with their size, and he doesn't make many mistakes in personnel.
Second down, 5 from the 34. Theismann with protection again. Over the middle. That's Clarence Harmon, and that should be enough for the first down. Wait a minute, a flag on the play. And I believe it's going to go against Washington, and that has been the story all year long about this Redskin team. It's holding. They just can't seem to stay away from the penalties.
And there's 2 flags. It looks like they caught him on both sides, on the left side and on the right side.
So, as you've said so many times, that's the biggest drive stopper in the world, is a holding penalty.
That's it, and that's hurt the Redskins a couple times today already. That, you know, when you're struggling on offense or defense or any game on anything, it's really hard.
Number 63, offense.
That's Fred Dean.
Yeah, right. It's really hard to come back off that. You know, and that's the important thing. You do get penalties, but you have to forget about them, and the most important play is the next play.
And that's what we come to right now. Second down, 15 from the 44. Harmon, Ike Forte back in. Thompson, Art Monk, both of them split to the bottom of the screen. Don Warren, the tight end. Theismann back. That is Ike Forte. He hangs on, and that'll be a first down. Boy, that was a tough catch. He was hit hard. He was able to hang on, and Forte has made 3 fine plays in this football game.
Forte was hit hard, but so was Joe Theismann. As we watch this, he's getting a pass rush right up the middle again by Hairston's the first man there. Watch the shot that he takes right as he throws the ball, but he stood in there and got the ball deep to Forte, who also takes quite a lick. But that's the thing we were talking about. It's not the penalty. That play's over. Now the most important one is the next one, and that's what they did well.
A very resourceful Joe Theismann. Forte has 2 catches for 38 yards. First down at the 24 of Philadelphia. Look at that protection. Art Monk. And it is intercepted by Roynell Young. Young with his second interception of the year. It looked like Monk had a touchdown catch on the way, and Roynell Young, who had his only other interception of the year against Washington, has his second of this season.
That was a rookie against a rookie. Art Monk here really didn't run a disciplined pattern here. He should have worked back a little, got in front of him. See, he let that interception angle come in there.
Here they come, the 1981 Ford trucks. Tough trucks, aerodynamically designed to meet the needs of the 80s. It's America's best-selling truck line with highest mileage ratings in Ford history. Yes, for 1981, Ford pickups break this mileage barrier. Tough Bronco with the best 6-cylinder utility vehicle MPG. Tough van with gas mileage ratings unbeaten by any van. Plus 40-ton line haulers and tough new diesel-powered mediums. No wonder Ford's America's best-selling truck line.
The first electronic football games like these were for only one player.
End run.
but something was missing.
Can I play? Wait your turn.
Then along came head-to-head electronic football by Coleco.
Now we can play at the same time. I'm offense. I'm defense.
With head-to-head, you're really in the game. A power sweep. He fights through for the tackle. You pass. He blitzes. Intercepts.
This is real competition.
Why settle for a one-player game when you can have it all? Play alone, against the computer, or for real competition, play
Head-to-head.
Why settle for less?
Next Saturday, the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship live. Aaron Pryor defends against Tough Gaten Hart. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Joe Theismann with 2 interceptions. You can see he is hot.
He is, because had they gotten a score there, that would have been 14-7, and this would have been an entirely different ball game.
Skins had the ball for 4 minutes on that last drive, only to have the interception in the end zone. From the 20-yard line, the Eagles have it. 5.5 to go in this first half. Wilbert Montgomery. Montgomery for a couple of yards and slammed back. On that last play, Roynell Young made a great individual effort, but I want to go back on that. You were talking about Monk. You felt he should have squared a little more in the end zone. What did you mean by that?
Right, he should have squared. Once you make your cut, he should have come right down the line, and if anything, worked back a little towards Theismann. As he made his cut, he gained ground up into the end zone, which gave Roynell Young an interception angle. By using his body, he could have taken away that interception angle.
Well, the young rookie learning a lot of football, and that's one of the instances there. 2nd down and 8 from the 22-yard line. Ron Jaworski stepping up, tries to hit his tight end. There's a flag at the 19-yard line. Keith Krefley, the intended receiver. Mark Murphy defending on the play.
I'm sure that's going to be holding against the Eagles, and that could be a big plus here for the Redskins, because that can put the Eagles back inside that 10-yard line.
You got it. That's
Decoy
exactly.
Bacon point. Yeah, put him back there. Get him back there. Put him up against that goal line. Then see if we can stop him here, make him punt out, get good field position, and go get that score we just lost.
Well, I tell you, the Eagles got the attention of this Washington team, scoring the first 2 times they had the football, but since then, Washington's been very difficult defensively, and they've had one impressive drive. So they'll back him up. Jerry Seaman with the step off.
Illegal use of hands, number 62, offense.
Well, that wasn't holding, but illegal use of hands.
That's the same thing. They just mix it up, you see. So you're not,
they want to
you
confuse
can open your hands and you can use them, but if you get your hands outside the plane of the defensive man's body, that's illegal. If you hold them and grab them, that's illegal, but it's the same penalty.
The Cardinals leading the Cowboys. Otis Anderson with a 51-yard touchdown run in that football game. Wilbert Montgomery, and Montgomery out across the 15 to the 17. They had a 2nd and 17 call, so they got a long ways to go. Perry Brooks over to make the stop. Montgomery getting up very slowly. In fact, he's not getting up.
And I'm sure that's one thing that Dick Vermeil was worried about, and the whole Eagle team, and probably everyone except Wilbert Montgomery. As we see it again here, it was a sweep play, and he's starting to cut up here, and this backside pursuit is going to come across and get him in right there. It looks like he got a hit on that left knee. I hope not. I really hope that's okay. You know, sometimes it can be. There's Dick Vermeil out there, and we knew he would be concerned about that, because Wilbert Montgomery means so much to this football team.
He's had hip problems. He's had a groin problem. He's had a hyperextension of his knee. And he has been a very unhappy young man. We saw him a couple of weeks ago in Seattle. He couldn't play, and he had the gloom of all-time gloom on his face that particular day. Montgomery already has 50 yards today.
That happens when you get those players that are great players because they're great competitors, and then they have to hold them out. That's a warrior out of war. Wilbert Montgomery's up, and he's walking off the field without a limp, so it's not his knee. That's great news.
Been a tough year for this young man. So he'll catch a breather now, as it's going to be 3rd down, still 12 yards to go. Billy Camfield will come in to replace him as Jaws Ron Jaworski from Lackawanna, New York, return to the huddle.
And he doesn't want to make a mistake on this play. A mistake, an interception, a fumble here would be 7 points for the Redskins.
3rd down, 12. Carmichael and Smith. And the near sideline split out. 4:16 to go in this first half of play. 14-0, the Eagles. There he goes on the 3rd and 12. Time to throw. He rifles a shot to Rodney Parker. He may have gotten the first down. Rodney Parker, who has only one catch this year, lunged forward. Let's see if he got the first down. That's one of those left foot, right foot jobs that you're always talking about.
Yeah, it's a left foot job. He has a first down. I can see it here. But the whole game plan of the Eagles has been the same all day. They've been putting Charles Smith and Harold Carmichael on one side, putting them together, and then working the other side, both run and pass. That time it was Rodney Parker, the third wide receiver. Earlier they'd put Smith and Carmichael on one side and then work their tight ends. But the game plan has been the same the entire first half.
Boy, did Jaworski have some mustard on that last throw. Here's Louis Giamona. Giamona, who last week had a 44-yard run, who's gained 299 yards since replacing Montgomery. Neil Okowitz making the stop. Little Louis, they list him at 5'9", 180. He probably weighs 160. He's probably 5'7". I don't know.
Right, and he's the coach's nephew, but that doesn't make any difference. He's really playing outstanding. What did he have on that last throw?
That last throw, some mustard. You didn't like that?
Mustard.
On the 38-yard line. Jaworski now 8 of 12 for 96 yards. Second down, 3. Jaworski's going to throw. Carmichael broken up by Mark Murphy. Murphy just got there the instant the ball did. And Carmichael is having a tough time coming up with that grab today.
He hasn't. I think that time Jaworski took a little mustard off it. Had he put a little more mustard on it, it would have gotten there a little sooner. We see there, Carmichael, he had to wait for it and get turned around. Had he had a little more mustard and a little more lead to the sidelines, that would have been a completion.
What do you got to get mustard? Don't you like mustard?
Well, it's easier to see, I guess. They don't have those stripes on the balls anymore. At night, they probably put mustard on it.
Third down, 3 from the 38-yard line. Smith and Carmichael at the bottom of the screen. Let's see if he throws again. He did on second. He's not going to this time, and Harris does not have the first down, I don't believe. Nope. He's going to be short. Just across the 40-yard line, Paul Smith, who was picked on the all-time Denver Broncos team, 36-year veteran, 36-year-old veteran from New Mexico. I don't believe he got it. They are looking to the far sideline. From our vantage point, I'm going to say they didn't. And now with 2:58 left, they're going to bring him in. They're asking for the measurement anyway. But that was interesting. They threw on 2nd and 3, then on 3rd and 3, they came back and tried to hammer it up the middle.
I think that's what offensive football is all about today is, you know, they say establish a run. I never did know. No, that's short. I knew that wasn't good. But, you know, they talk about establishing a run, and I think what you really have to establish is mixture. You have to run when they think you're going to pass and pass when they think you're going to run.
All those tricky plays, right?
Yeah.
So on 4th down, the kick will be Reniger. That's Nelm standing back. Let's see where New York has taken the lead over Green Bay. Sims, 21-yard touchdown pass to Ernest Gray. Boy, Sims is hot now, isn't he?
No, and the Giants, 2 weeks in a row.
The Eagles taking a lot of time getting themselves deployed as on a 4th down, Reniger from the 25-yard line. 14-0. The Eagles with the lead. Snapping the ball will be Mark Slater, the 3rd-year man from Minnesota. You see LeMaster, number 55. Boy, they're doing a lot of yelling out there.
Well, the Eagles want to take the full time, so the Redskins won't have a lot of time when they get it back.
With 5 seconds on the clock, they snap the ball, and Reniger to Nelms. And Nelms doesn't go anywhere. He caught that ball just inside the 20-yard line. Jerry Robinson down there. Robinson runs like a wide receiver. That was a 40-yard kick that time by Max Reniger. And Washington's 80 yards away with 2:25 left in this first half. Jack Pardee. A lot of controversy here. Local paper running a column and having the fans vote on whether both he and Bobby Beathard, the general manager, should get a vote of confidence. whether Joe Walton, the offensive coordinator, or Joe Theismann should call the plays. And poll, I'm sure the results will be announced next week. Here's Theismann back to throw on first down. Warren! Don Warren, and what messed that up is somebody was in his line of sight for a moment, and I think he must have lost the football for a moment.
He must have, because he was really wide open. Joe Theismann threw a beautiful pass, and I'm sure Joe's thinking now, what do I have to do? It was off a play fake where they held the defensive line. They did a nice job of pass protection. He had time. He makes a nice throw, and there was a little blur, but it was about 5 yards in front of him, and that really shouldn't have affected his concentration on that reception.
I was going to say, as a coach, you wouldn't have allowed that one, right?
No, that one, that's what we pay him for. If they can't catch those, then, you know, that's their fault.
Second down, 10. Woken up. Nope, he started to throw. I thought he did, and he gets it off to Harmon. That's a first down. Clarence Harmon to the 40. Harmon to the 45. A flag has been thrown. Theismann looked like he threw the ball, but he held on. He pumped it, came back up throwing. He has the first down, but the penalty flag at the 40-yard line. 2:06 left, and it looks like it's going to go against Washington.
Yeah, it's a clip. You see that a lot with the open field running, but what a competitor this Joe Theismann, and he was there. They had him stopped. He ran out. He couldn't find anyone. Kept going. Found a man. Got it complete and downfield. This guy just keeps coming back, coming at you all day.
I was impressed with Harmon on that run, the way he scooted up the middle.
Yeah, and you get a lot of those clips on open field runs like that, whether it's a run or a pass reception. You see a lot of them on kickoff and punt returns, the open field type thing, and this is what we'll hear. It's a clip.
Personnel foul, clipping, number 89, offense.
That's Kenny Harrison, the wide receiver. Let's see if we can pick it up. There he is.
It's going to be right there. I don't know if he hit him. He looked like he tried to clip him and missed him.
He hit Randy Logan if, in fact, he made contact.
And he could read his name.
Well, after the penalty, they're 3 yards short of the first down. Second down and 3. Forte has come in, and a flag. 2 flags.
Looks like George Stark tried to get a little jump on that one, the right tackle, number 74.
False start, number 74, offense.
Well, the penalties continue to mount. And Jack Pardee got to be very disgusted about that. Stark, who was out 3 games with a knee injury. That's been one of the problems for this Washington team. They had both their tackles out for a while.
Number 74, offense.
He mentioned it twice.
How come they say it twice?
That's what I wonder. You think we wonder? What do you think George Stark wonders?
Yeah, he's, you know, that's what he's saying. You know, I play the whole game. The only time I get my name mentioned is when I have a penalty, and then they do it twice.
Redskins 5 penalties for 50 yards. Ken Clark, the ball is fumbled. Wait a minute. Was it fumbled or not? Harmon was carrying the ball.
Yep.
It is Philadelphia's football.
Harmon on that, he tried to cut back, and that's the one thing that the Eagle defense does. Watch this right side, the top of the screen, the way they come back in against a cutback.
That's Berge. Bill Berge came away with it.
Berge came up with the ball. Of course, we didn't see exactly when it was fumbled there.
It was very hard to tell whether he was on the ground before he lost the ball or not. But the official said he did lose it. And at the 22-yard line, Philadelphia now with 2:03, and of course a 2-minute warning coming up after this play, at least in field goal range already. The Cardinals now 14-0. We mentioned O.J. Anderson with a 50-plus run in that game for a touchdown. Jaworski to Smith, and he did not catch it. It hit the ground. Lamar Parrish defending on the play, and it'll bring up a second down. That, by the way, was the first fumble in the game. Harmon not able to hang on to it. And now with the 2-minute warning here, the Eagles with a 14-0 lead. They have it 2nd and 10 at the 22 when we return.
No experience, no job. I could do that job, but who'd give me the chance?
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
We don't ask for experience.
We give it.
You won't read it in
trouble, you live it. Pick up service, pick a challenge, set yourself apart. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, what a great place. It's a great place to start.
We do the Continental to ensure our apartmental.
I do the Continental to ensure my accidental.
I do the Continental to ensure my Orientals. They can insure all I have to insure.
I do the Continental to ensure my instrumental.
I do the Continental to ensure my equipmental.
Join the over 4 million satisfied Continental Insurance policyholders.
Do the Continental.
It's the all-new special Kenny Rogers America with guest Kim Carnes, the Commodores, Terry Bradshaw, and some of the Pittsburgh Steelers Thursday.
There's Wilbert Montgomery. We understand he has a twisted left knee, and he looks like he wants to come back in and play, doesn't he?
He sure does. And he probably will in the second half.
Second down, 10 from the 22. Vic Vermeil looking into the sun. His team with a 14-0 lead. Jaworski rolling out on a bootleg. Now he's going to throw to Crumpler. And Jaworski is upset at himself. I think he decided he should have run the football.
I think he was over the line of scrimmage. What happened was he got up past that original line of scrimmage, and then he threw the ball.
Well, there's 2 flags. Let's see what they're about.
I'm sure that's what it is, and I don't know if Jaworski was mad. Yes, that's it. Whether he was mad at himself because he ran too far before he threw, or the throw. Now watch this. As we come here, the line of scrimmage is about the 22-yard line. About right there is the line of scrimmage. Now he's over it. He throws it and says, oh, no.
Illegal forward pass, number 7, offense, loss of down, offense.
That is a very costly penalty.
Yes, the penalty for that is it's a 5-yard penalty plus loss of down.
See the tape on Spagnola's nose we were mentioning. So that will move it back to the 27-yard line. Jaworski could have run that ball. It looked like a long ways, didn't it?
I know it. They had no containment on that side.
Here's Louis Giamona. Giamona lowers his head to the 21. It'll be 4th down, and that means Tony Franklin. Coy Bacon over to make the tackle for the Washington Redskins. Man shaken up. Perry Brooks has been hurt for Washington. Looks like a shoulder.
Now we see Tony Franklin kicking from grass here. I was talking to Tony on the field before the game, before the warm-ups, while the teams were still in the locker room. He came out and I said, how do you like this grass? And his answer was, It wasn't yes or no, it was just which meant he doesn't.
You may mess him up if you don't quit talking to him before the game.
I hope he's not thinking about it right now. I really do. You know, we're talking about spot. The spot is a little tougher in the grass than it is artificial turf. And he said he's always kicked on artificial turf. That's what he likes, and he doesn't like the plant or having to kick from grass because you can't see the whole or true ball.
Well, he'll have a 38-yard kick, and looking ahead to next week, we mentioned the Giants. If they could win today, they'd feel they'd have a real shot against San Francisco. Washington, and of course, Dallas is losing today. We've been told that Jim Hart just hit Mel Gray for a 69-yard touchdown. And a game that really is important in that NFC Central Division, Detroit against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, someone's going to win that division, aren't they? You know, maybe by the team that loses the fewest games will win.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I don't know that anyone's going to win it, is what I'm trying to say. You know, people, I mean, like the Eagles, they win the Eastern Division. You know, people win division. Sometimes people just don't lose. You know, one team loses more than the other. Does that make any sense?
I think I understand that. Of course, I know you very well, and it's kind of a backdoor comment, but
it's kind
we'll
of like
take it.
Default. This is an interesting kick here because it's not only on grass, and I know he doesn't like grass. He has his towel out there, but it's also from the left hash mark.
38-yard attempt. Shira to hold. Franklin is 10 of 16. And Tony Franklin hit that very well. Beautiful kick. He had a lot of height and distance on it. He made it look easy. A 38-yarder, and it's now 17-0. in favor of Philadelphia. You can't hit a ball any better than he just did.
No. The interesting thing, watch his left foot there, the foot that he has a cleat on, the plant foot. See, that's important that as he plants it, it doesn't slip. Did you see how he planted that foot and it just grabbed there? Then he can bring his leg and his shoulders through. I'll tell you, this kid is a great kicker. I really like him. He's a nice guy.
He even can talk to you. You even understand him.
I know, I do. I kid some about officials and I kid about kickers, but I really like both groups of people.
Well, he had a mild slump there for a while, but he's now hit his last 6 in a row. And that was an impressive 38-yarder. Washington now with 2 timeouts remaining. They have the football after this kick with 1:31 left.
Any guy that kicks sideways and with barefoot, it has to be a pretty good guy. I was telling him that my son is a kicker. And he said, does he kick barefoot? And I said, nah, he's a pretty normal kid.
This will be Nelms from the 10-yard line. Nelms out to the 25, 30, 35-yard line, and Roynell Young is over there, and Nelms stays on his feet. And his forward progress across the 35. A fine return that time by Nelms. He was a man that a lot of teams wanted from the Canadian Football League. He had 6 or 7 clubs bidding for his services. You can see why on a return like this.
Right, and we'll see here. He has the gloves and things on, and as he comes up the sideline, and he had one more block, he could have taken this thing all the way. See, he does a nice job of getting away from tackles, but it's right here. See, the one more person that makes him level up and square up where he just couldn't take off and sprint up that sideline.
26-yard return. With a minute 21, Theismann is going down. That was Carl Hairston. Also help from Claude Humphrey. Theismann had no chance whatsoever. And the loss will be back to the 25-yard line, and Philadelphia is coming after number 7.
I'll tell you, they are. They talk about Carl Hairston being a fine player against the run, but every time I see him, he's a good pass rusher, too.
The catch is made by Forte, and he's immediately wrapped up by Jerry Robinson. Forward progress to the 30-yard line. And now with a minute 2, Washington's going to ask for a timeout. That gives them 1 remaining. The ball at the 30, where it's going to be now 3rd down, and still long ways to go, about 15 yards.
I know, and they take a timeout before that. I know that, that Joe Theismann is a competitor. He would like to get a score here before they go in at halftime. But I don't know, at 3rd and 15, and they're having trouble with pass protection. That's a big thing. Joe Theismann, I'm sure, will do what he has to do to get the job done. But in this situation, on this 3rd down, he's going to need a lot of help from his offensive line.
Theismann really's had pretty good protection, 17 sacks, but one reason is his ability to run around back there, move out of the pocket. And even though they've had this 3-7 record, Jack Pardee just could not say enough about him. He said he's had a super year, but it's been overshadowed by the fact that they just haven't been able to win the football games. I still think that John Riggins been here, it's been a different story, has put a lot more pressure on Theismann, Riggins being out of there.
Well, of course, because if you look at the statistics last year in both games against the Eagles, John Riggins rushed for over 100 yards.
Theismann back on 3rd and 15, intended for Harmon, and that'll bring up a kicking situation.
Now, I think if I were going to throw that pass, which was, less than a first down, about 10 yards less than a first down, I wouldn't have taken a timeout. I would have just let the clock run and say, well, they aren't going to get any more scores. We'll come out in the second half and start down 17-0, but we'll start fresh. I wouldn't have thrown that.
That's not a bad idea, Coach. I like that. I even understood that. 58 seconds now left in this first half as Connell will kick.
Like mustard?
Back deep was John Shira. Big rush put on. That was Steve Wagner who went after the block. He's the new man they added this week, and Shira out to the 40-yard line. Shira will not break the long one like Wally Henry does, but he just does a very commendable job. We have a flag on the play. We've had a lot of flags in this first half. Discussion going on, and it's going to go against Philadelphia. It's going to be holding.
And it could be, of course, It will be if it's against Philadelphia. It's before the kick. Then the Redskins will get the ball again, automatic first down. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Redskin offense. If it were after the ball is kicked, then the Eagles get to keep the ball. But it had to be holding before the ball. Therefore, it's automatic first down.
Illegal use of hands. Number 63, defense. He pulled an offensive player out of the way to allow a teammate to go in and block the punt.
Oh, he explained that. That's Ron Baker.
Again. Right. He grabs the center, Jeff Bostic, and then they tried to get a man coming inside.
Back to the live action, and that's the same play they tried earlier. Harmon can't hang on. And Theismann's probably wondering what he's got to do, because he was wide open, and that had a first down catch written on it, and more yardage besides, as Harmon really open over the middle.
Right, and it's the same type of thing. He'd thrown that one to tight end Don Warren before, and he probably is thinking, what do I have to do?
That stopped the clock. 44 seconds. They'd like to at least get back to field goal range. They bring in Mark Mosley from the 35, 2nd and 10. Thompson and Art Monk, the wide receivers. Theismann intended for Monk. Frank LeMaster had inside coverage all the way. Monk couldn't stay on his feet. But LeMaster, that was just a desperation toss because Monk really had no opportunity to catch it all. You see the time remaining, 39 seconds. That's one thing about LeMaster. He, in the estimation of Vermeil, is just a very consistent, well-drilled football player, seemingly always in position, and that last play certainly pointed that out.
There was a lot of them in position in the middle, and Joe Theismann was just trying to throw the ball away. And usually when you throw it away, you like to throw it to the sidelines more than in the middle. That's very dangerous.
From the 35, 3rd down 10. Theismann rolling out. He's going to try to hit Monk. Monk is across the front of that chain. He would have been far enough for the first down, but that'll bring up 4th down. So the penalty doesn't really give the Redskins any impetus to keep moving. They'll have to kick anyway, as Connell will go back to the 20-yard line. Shira again will field the punt.
And I'm sure the Eagles won't run that same stunt that they did the last time, where they try and grab and hold and get someone out of the way and run someone else up inside. They're going for a safer return type play on this return.
The man that did it is Ron Baker, who's right over the nose of Jeff Bostic. Baker's one of the fastest players on this team, even though he's an offensive lineman. There he is, 63, as Connell hit it very well. Shira from the 15-yard line. Shira out to the 30, and again we have another flag on the play. We can't seem to get these punts without a flag. This one at the 39-yard line.
You know, as we remember the last time that same thing happened in the last game, just before the halftime, there was 2 penalties and the Eagles got another score as a result of it, but this one will go clipping against the Eagles, so I'm sure they aren't going to get a score out of this just before halftime.
Let's go back on this last punt and watch the center of that defensive charge and the offensive line of Washington.
Well, that's a tough thing, as we see him here.
Oh.
That's the old thing where you can't can the center. Remember we used to say no canning the center? But you know, he has to keep his leg.
Clipping number 52, receiving team during the run back.
Ray Phillips. I've never heard so many explanations as we've had today.
Right. Well, they like to get on television and editorialize a little, but Jeff Bostic, the center on that, has to keep his head between his legs and follow through and watch the ball, and of course they are susceptible to that type of thing.
20 seconds left in this first half. Jaworski's going to play it cautiously. That was Giamona. The time ticking away. They're just going to let it expire in this first half of play. So after Philadelphia took their first 2 possessions and scored with them, they've had a battle on their hands until the 38-yard field goal late in the first half of play. Again, this reminder, the Redskins have had to play catch up, and they have the ability to do that.
Well, they do, and their defense early in the first half, in the first quarter, was a little shaky, and the Eagles, the first 2 times they had the ball, they just drove down and scored with it. Then they settled down, and they're playing good, strong defense now.
And the Eagles trying to make it 7 in a row, leading the Redskins 17-0 at half.
A bright red fire truck, a blue calliope, a yellow moon, a pink balloon, a golden Dixie jamboree. Yes, America's true colors come through on GE.
GE TV brings you America's true colors, vivid and lifelike. And with GE Special VIR2 circuit, the color is automatically adjusted.
Yes, America's true colors come through on GE. GE, we bring good things to life.
Lincoln Mercury introduces Lynx. Lynx gives you more than exceptional fuel efficiency. Lynx gives you a special inner world that's a pleasure to be in. Starting today, the world belongs to an American car. Starting today, the world belongs to Lynx.
This ranch doesn't run without horses, and the horses don't run without you. But when you've hammered out a day's work, you meet up with Miller Time.
When it's time to relax.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
One beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Hi, I'm Kenny Rogers. Join me right here for my 3rd CBS TV special, Kenny Rogers America. As you can see, I'm not dressed in my Western outfit as I usually am. This time I'm in my football uniform, and I want you to know something. When you put these on, you feel different. I'm here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'll tell you, those guys are nothing but kids. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, they are really just... They're very tough kids, but they are just kids. Oh, Joe, I like it when you're so mean.
Kenny Rogers America this Thursday night.
That's the secret.
Everyone from Philly and Washington, gather around the tube because your old nemesis may be in deep trouble. First offensive play of the game for the St. Louis Cardinals, and to give it to the big fella, O.J. Anderson.
Watch him go. The guy carries about 230 pounds and spins right up the middle of the field for a touchdown.
51 yards, and that set up this serve cross, 69 yards to Mel Gray.
Boy, I tell you, Mel Gray has been a real nemesis for the Dallas Cowboys secondary. Every time he plays him, he comes up with a big play. There's a touchdown pass right there.
Danny White then rallied the Cowboys on their next series. And watch this catch by Preston Pearson. 14-7 is where they stand to the board. 14-7, the Patriots, after giving up a touchdown to the Rams, came back with 2 of their own. We'll have highlights in a short time. Atlanta leading New Orleans 10-7. Bartkowski 47 yards to Jackson. We'll show you that play. The Giants over the Packers at the half, 14-7. Sims has hit Gray for 2 TDs in that game. Browns over Pittsburgh 13-7. They are now deep into the 3rd period in that game. Baltimore still shutting out Detroit 10-0 in the 3rd period. What happened to the Lions? Buffalo tied with the Patriots, leading Cincinnati 7-0 in the 3rd. Ferguson 26 yards to Butler in that game. Most of the points in the NFC so far today. Philadelphia over Washington 17-0 at the half, the game you're watching. And St. Louis leading Dallas 14-7. And Minnesota, which has been remarkably strong the last couple weeks under Bud Grant, leading Tampa Bay, which missed an extra point, 14-6. That is in the 1st period. I mentioned the AFC-NFC, and you know, no rivalry is really more bitter than that war between the 2 conferences. Now, the AFC has dominated that contest completely in recent years. But as Irv reports today, there are signs that may be a-changing because of a shifting balance of power at one dominant position.
They were the quarterbacks of the 70s, and between them won 7 Super Bowls. Greasy, Stabler, and the Pittsburgh Steelers' incomparable Terry Bradshaw. He brought 4 trophies back to this town and renamed it the City of Champions. The AFC was the dominant conference in pro football, and everyone thought it was because of their great quarterbacks. But in the first season of the 80s, the names and faces are changing, and no one knows this any better than Pittsburgh's #1.
I think that they're realizing what we realized a long time ago, is that you can make a lot of things happen by throwing the football as well as running it.
Play action fake to Peacock, and Ferragamo going deep to Waddy. Jaworski fakes left and goes deep right for Scott Fitzke.
Split the running backs, everybody flooded out. Bartkowski goes up top, wants all of it. He's got Alfred Jenkins, and he's got a touchdown.
The new look in the NFC comes from quarterbacks like Atlanta's Steve Bartkowski. The sixth year in the league is best by far, and he has the Falcons in first to prove it.
He's certainly playing well this year, and he's got all the talent in the world. He can throw the ball.
So can Philadelphia's Ron Jaworski. And with that arm at the controls, the Eagles on the best record in the NFL.
They've got the makings of an outstanding football team, and I think Jaworski is absolutely the key to any kind of success that they're going to have now and in the future.
Out west, the future belongs to the Rams' Vince Ferragamo, trying to lead his team back to the Super Bowl.
He's emerged and has taken control, and if he doesn't get involved with the Los Angeles Hollywood build-up and all the garbage that we've been reading about, he's become a big superstar.
And he's not the only one. New York has Phil Simms. Danny White is driving the Cowboys. Vince Evans of the Bears has the strongest arm in the Midwest. And Len Dickey is reviving the Pack is Back slogan. The conference rivalry is heating up.
When we play them, we want to beat them, and want to beat them badly. So I would say the rivalry certainly exists.
And it is changing. The quarterbacks of the 70s are about to be replaced.
Oh, where's my friend Joe Theismann on that list?
Joe Theismann's 30 years old. He's no longer a youngster.
Tough to be old, isn't it? All right. The NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
The Russians are ready, are we? Find out when 60 Minutes takes a chilling look at chemical warfare. Also a story called The Kid, the Cop, and the Knife. Tonight on CBS.
Tampa Bay's Doug Williams has just hit Kevin House for the second time today. 14-13 now, Minnesota leading Tampa Bay. And here you see the Rams scoring first. Ferragamo to Hicks.
Hits him right on the numbers, coming across the 5-yard line. It goes in for the score.
Now we'll see Grogan come back to Don Hasselbeck, 35 yards.
You never hear much about Hasselbeck. Everybody talks about Russ Francis, but he's a tremendous backup tight end.
Irv, here's Ferragamo's weakness, the 3-4. That extra linebacker has caused him problems all year. Miami did it a week ago. This is Steve Nelson on the interception, 33 yards to the LA2. And then it was Grogan up over the top. Meanwhile, a great combination is starting to mature with the New York Giants. Here it is, Phil Simms and Ernest Gray against the Packers.
Imagine this is their first offensive play, touchdown.
Packers came back with a good defensive effort here. They forced a Simms fumble, and the veteran Ed O'Neill, who used to play for the Lions, will pounce on it. Jerry Ellis looks tough for Bart Starr.
I really like him. He wears number 31. It's the same number Jimmy Taylor wore years ago. Watch this power. He just drives his way into the end zone.
One more time, Simms, Gray, touchdown, New York. And then it was Ron Jaworski. Boy, does he love his tight ends.
He sure does, particularly inside the 20-yard line. Keith Krepley catches touchdown pass number 1 there, and then he comes back a few plays later. It's his backup tight end, Spagnola, for touchdown pass number 2.
You know, a quarterback having a tough season, Archie Manning. He's got a lot of talent, doesn't have the strongest arm in the league anymore. But the Saints, of course, have been unable to win this year. But today against Atlanta, they took the opening kickoff, marched down, and scored on this Manning to Wes Chandler pass. It was 7-0. But I'll tell you, Bartkowski is having his finest season ever.
Boy, it's bombs away this year. Receiver coach Jimmy Ray allows him to throw a deep pass at will. Here he connects right there for a touchdown.
And that was a 47-yarder. So right now, let's send you back to Gary Bender in Washington.
$17-0, our halftime score here at RFK Stadium. The sellout crowd, a cool, crisp afternoon. We'll be back with the second half in a moment.
Chester, a lady in my condition would like an automatic.
A bank account in our condition needs high gas mileage.
Introducing a car that'll fit you to a T. The 1981 Toyota Celica ST. It's the highest mileage 4-speed overdrive automatic you can buy, and the lowest priced.
This fits me.
And me. We to a T. Automatic savings.
As a member of Les Amis de Vin and other famous wine societies, I've tasted thousands of wines, here and abroad. So people often ask me for my opinion about wine. You know what I recommend more than any other single wine? Chenin Blanc from the wine cellars of Ernest and Julio Gallo. It never disappoints me in taste. Believe me, the more you know about wine, the more you'll appreciate Gallo.
The more you know about wine, the more you appreciate